We all have blind spots. You know, those areas in our lives that other people complain about, which we can't see. Yes, those areas in our lives that we ignore. For some of us, we truly cannot see them. But for most of us, we're reacting to past hurt that we haven't dealt with. We are reacting from resentment that has built up over the years. For others, it's anger. Many times we do not even understand how deeply these things have held us captive. Everyone tells you that you have a nasty temper when you get really angry. Your response is that you don't get angry often enough to recognize it. The excuse is everyone has flaws. Everyone has weaknesses. Everyone has things they are dealing with. So, if you had a blind spot, it should be understood. What you don't say is that you saw dad with the same nasty temper hitting your mom. And little by little, that rage began to grow. Now you're grown up and you believe you've kept it under wraps. After all, you don't really let it out. You're nothing like your father. But it's there. At the root of that nasty temper is the anger that you've built up over the years. Your anger at the fact that you couldn't save your mom. Your anger at the fact that you couldn't fight back. Your anger at your helplessness because you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing glimpses of the man you despise so much. You inherited that same anger and you don't know how. You feel helpless. You feel out of control. So you just turn a blind eye to it. You slap a plaster on it and you move on. There you have it, a blind spot. The thing about blind spots is that most of the time you choose not to see it. We choose not to deal with it. We deliberately decide to be blind to it. Many times we do this because we feel helpless. We don't want to go back to that place of pain. Reopening the wound is hard. No one wants to go through that pain again, so we ignore it. We turn a blind eye to it. If I asked you to ask the people around you what they felt about you, chances are you would get defensive. Nobody wants to be dissected. Nobody wants to be screened, scrutinized, or judged. It's much easier to turn a blind eye and pretend it doesn't exist. But here's the thing, blind spots could destroy you. The very things you've chosen to ignore might be the things that would eat you alive. That unforgiving spirit you have, your tendency to keep a grudge, the one you play down every time someone brings it up. One day it's going to ruin the best relationships you have. And what would you do then? Why would you want to wait till that happens? Deal with your blind spots now. Don't wait. Uncover them. Everything that stays hidden would one day be uncovered. But when you choose not to do the uncovering yourself, you invite shame. You invite condemnation. Everyone has a flaw. Everyone has weaknesses. Everyone has blind spots, but we shouldn't celebrate our weaknesses, especially when we see that they are destroying our lives right before our very eyes. You know, you could be judgmental, but you insist that it's not true. Everyone else sees it except you. If you would look inwards, you'll see that you are being judgmental. It's your reaction to being judged yourself. Everything we develop in life has a foundation. Could it be that you are judgmental because you grew up being heavily scrutinized? You got so used to being judged, criticized, and condemned that you didn't realize that you had started doing the same. It's no wonder that it's a blind spot. It's because such a part of you that you don't even realize is there. Someone or some people may have mentioned it, but you are afraid to look into it. You don't want to believe that you could be becoming the same person you used to despise. So instead, you vehemently refute the claims. You even get offended. It turns into a dispute. But the truth is, you know that if you looked into this deeply, you would find that they haven't been lying to you. You just have a blind spot. You shouldn't keep holding onto your blind spots or using the name as some sort of defense because you're hurting people. For every time you throw a tantrum and you say it's one of your blind spots, someone is hurt. You end up saying things you shouldn't have. You call it a weakness, but someone is hurt. Someone is broken. You've indirectly projected your own hurt on the other person. That hurt person would find himself doing the same to others. Hurt people will always hurt people. It's a negative cycle that leaves no victors, only casualties. The world we must aspire to create is one where everyone takes responsibility for their actions. You're entitled to your pain and your hurt, but innocent people aren't. We need to heal from the things that make us act the way we do. Otherwise, the cycle keeps going on and on. A world full of broken people, but we call it blind spots, so it's fine. A world full of angry people, we call it blind spots, so it's okay. What are you going to do about them? Previously, you were blind to them, but now you can see. Now that you can see, what's next? I beg you to not continue on the journey of guilt and condemnation. It's the guilt and shame that leave us helpless. It's the guilt and shame that leave us refusing to open the wounds so we can treat them properly. Refuse the guilt and shame. It wasn't your fault. We're all products of the environments we grew up in. We're products of the people we were surrounded by growing up. Whether we like it or not, we picked up traits from our caretakers. We picked up traits from our parents. We picked up traits from our siblings. We picked up things from school, from the people we lived with. Our childhood experiences contribute to our makeup. Everyone got something, whether good or bad. The good thing is that now you have a choice. You have a choice to heal. You have a choice to get some help. You have a choice to forgive. You have a choice to let go of the bitterness that has consumed you. You have a choice to confront those negative habits, those things that you know that have been holding you back. You have a choice to update your knowledge. You no longer need to think the way you used to. Now you have the choice to see things from the best perspective. Let go of your blind spots. Step into the light so that you can see. Let go of your guilt so that you can deal with this. Decide that you won't be one of those who make others suffer because you suffered. No one deserves to be hurt because you were hurt. You can find healing. You can find help. You can break the cycle. You can check those blind spots. It will take courage, but get to the root of it. Ask yourself, how did I start doing this? When did it start? Have I always done this? Get some friends with who you can be vulnerable with. Get people around you who you know wouldn't lie to you. Ask them for the truth. Maybe you can't see it, but they will. Have they also been hurt by you unintentionally? Make the decision to deal with your blind spots. Make the decision to get rid of anything that keeps people away from you. Anything that leaves people hurt after interacting with you. I know that's not who you want to be. I know you want to be better. And you can be better. You can be the best version of yourself. But it's a continuous process. One that will take you through the journey of empathy, compassion, kindness, genuine love, and sacrifice. Don't despise the journey, because at the end of the day, the only person who is blind is you. Others aren't blind to your blind spots. They see it and they label you. They label you with something that doesn't even wholesomely describe you. Now is the time to begin to look into some of the negative feedback you've gotten from people, especially the consistent ones. Could it be that there is some truth in it? And if there is, what are you willing to do about it? It's your job to be the best version of yourself. Take it as your contribution to making the world a happier place for you, a happier place for your loved ones, so we can break the cycle of hurt and negativity.